The launch for the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition hasn't gone very well. The reviews have been pretty poor and the overall opinions from fans haven't been great. And in this video we'll be going over the truth behind this Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition for the next generation consoles and PC. We'll be going over everything that arrived with it, how it works, and why players absolutely hate it. So we'll go through all of the reviews on Steam and everything like that in this video. So let's waste no more time and let's get into the truth behind the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition. So the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition released on the next generation consoles and PC on the 7th of March. This was available on the next generation consoles and was also available on the Steam and Epic Games launchers on PC. There was unfortunately no physical copy of this Spacer's Choice Edition, or at least there isn't as of yet. But one of the disappointing parts is that this upgrade wasn't free. Let's say you own the base game of the Outer Worlds on PlayStation 4 and you have a PlayStation 5 and you're currently playing the PlayStation 4 version since the next generation version hadn't released yet. This next generation version, the Spacer's Choice Edition, then comes around and you want to be able to play that. Well, you're actually going to have to spend quite a lot of money. You've just got the base game. That could be physical or the digital version. To be able to get this Spacer's Choice Edition, you have to go ahead and purchase the 2 DLCs digitally and then also purchase the upgrades for $10. Or alternatively, you could purchase the Spacer's Choice Edition as a whole for $50 separate to buying it as an upgrade. Those were the options for purchasing this, and that applies across all platforms. So for example on Steam, you can get the Spacer's Choice Edition for £50, or if you own the base game and the 2 DLCs, you can get it for $10. But obviously, if you do actually own it on Epic Games Pass or have it through PlayStation Plus on console, the base game, and then purchase the 2 DLCs, that doesn't count. You have to actually own the base game yourself. For example, you may have the base game on Game Pass and then you purchase the expansion pass for the 2 DLCs. That won't be good enough to get this upgrade, which you do actually have to purchase as well. You'll have to not only purchase the upgrade, you also have to purchase the base game, even though you've already played it, since you have to actually own it yourself. Pretty annoying there, and a reason that people were pretty disappointed. Now, this is something we have seen though with other next generation upgrades, so something that players could sort of, put up with. This would be something they would have to purchase, but at the end of the day, as long as the upgrade was good, then what really is the issue? And well, the upgrade seemed like it was going to be pretty solid. The upgrade was going to come with enhanced animations, enhanced graphics, improved resolutions, and also a bit of new content, which was a increased level cap, meaning that you could get a bit more progression within the game, just allowing for a bit more playtime and overall a bit more content within the Outer Worlds. Now, all of that seemed great. It seemed like a classic next generation upgrade of a game. Of course, it was a bit different with actually being a new edition of the game, the Spacer's Choice Edition, and also obviously not being free, unfortunately. But generally speaking, it seemed like a pretty standard next generation upgrade. We've seen this with games like GTA 5, you do have to pay for it, but again, it was just a next generation upgrade, something we thought we were seeing with this. And well, it came to March 7th and this released on all platforms, and it really didn't go down very well. The main issues lie over on PC. Now, on the next generation consoles, things are okay. Of course, you do have to pay for this, unfortunately, but generally speaking, the graphics are slightly better. There are no massive improvements there, and overall, it does just play a little bit better. The movement is a bit smoother, and obviously, you do have the increased level cap, which is nice. So over on consoles, things are alright. Obviously, it's nothing generational. It's nothing like that absolutely amazes everyone. It's just a fairly standard next generation upgrade with a slight improvement to the graphics, but nothing too major. But the problem really lies over on PC. And to be able to truly understand what these problems are, I think the best thing to do is go ahead and look at the old Steam reviews. So, here we are over on the Steam page for the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition, and here we have a little description of it here. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition is the ultimate way to play the award-winning RPG from Obsidian Entertainment and Private Division, including the base game and all DLC. This remastered masterpiece is the absolute best version of the Outer Worlds, and theoretically it would be the best version of the Outer Worlds, but as you can see here, the reviews are mostly negative. 27% of the 370, which isn't actually very many reviews, showing that not many people have gone ahead and bought this, are positive. So only 27% are positive. So most of them being negative. And to be honest, that's a very high amount of negative reviews. That's almost 3/4 of the reviews being negative reviews. And as you can see here, most of these, there's a couple positives, of course, and there definitely are some positives for this new version, but most of these here are negative reviews. And as you can see, this one here just says, go and play the original instead. This person only put in 0.3 hours into this new version, and they already knew straight away that this wasn't a great upgrade. And you can see here, they love the original and is still one of their favourite games ever, but unfortunately this edition is horribly optimised, which is the main trouble or main problem with this new version on PC. Even on medium settings, which is what the game auto detected for their system, they get about 70 frames per second, which can dip down to about 5 every 3 to 5 seconds, so some pretty major stuttering there, which some would maybe consider an unplayable experience. And they're really not sure if the game looks better. Like I mentioned, the graphics aren't a massive improvement. It's mainly just, some people would argue it's just sort of filters, to be honest. The colours just look slightly different, and it's arguably not really a real improvement. As you can see here, look at their specs. They've got a Ryzen 9, a 5th generation Ryzen 9. They've got a 5700 XT and 64 gigs of RAM. So really medium settings is not what it should be getting. So that's some really, really poor optimization. We're seeing it again here, just really poorly optimized, and that's just going to make the experience horrible for PC players. Of course, whilst it is mainly a console audience, there is going to be a high audience on console. They also have to look at these PC players, because there's quite a few here, and you know, they're not going to get many sales if it's poorly optimized. You can see the PC requirements here seem fairly standard, to be honest. A 1080 Ti or a 2070 for the recommended settings is, you know, that's not that bad. Obviously it's a bit vague on what resolution and frame rate that's for, but generally speaking, for recommended settings in 2023, that's really fine. And the same with the minimum, that's 1060, pretty standard there. But to then have poor optimization, some with a Ryzen 9 and a 5700 XT, you know, getting 5 frames per second at points is really, really disappointing, and that's just something that we shouldn't be getting with this version. Now, of course, yeah, there are some positive reviews, and there are also reviews stating that the game runs worse than the original, and that has not been their experience, so some people think it's fine. Obviously, this is meeting the minimum requirements, so I have no doubt they're probably on lower settings, and yeah, they fixed it by lowering the graphics settings and stuff like that, and obviously, yeah, there are some positives here. Of course, in terms of a next generation upgrade, it's not that bad, but to then get poor optimization is never going to make it a good experience. Any game with poor optimization on PC isn't going to get strong reviews on Steam, that's without a doubt. So it goes without saying that the upgrade definitely could have had some improvements. Now, they are releasing some patches. We can see here that they have released some patch notes, and these have had some performance improvements, so it's going to need a bit more than that. This was on Friday, so literally just a couple days ago, but it definitely needs a bit more, you know, a bit more work than just that. That's quite disappointing that it did release in this state, and that's not to say that it will be in this state forever. I have no doubt that they will release some patches. We saw with the Witcher 3 next-gen upgrades that did actually have some poor optimization over on PC. On console, it was a pretty good experience with no real issues, but over on PC, there were optimization issues, and this is bound to happen. There is a bit of a sale on the game though, so if you did want to get it and you believe it will be fixed in the future, then now's the chance to do so and the best time to do so. But obviously it's disappointing that this is the state it's in, and this is what we have to work with in terms of the game on PC. Now, if you're on console, to be honest, I would say you're in luck. If you are willing to spend the money to get this and you want the best experience of the Outer Worlds possible, then it's definitely worth getting. Now, over on PC, I would say stick with the standard version for now, since obviously the graphics, if you have a good PC, are going to look great on the older version anyway, so I would stick with that for now. But then you can always upgrade to this later down the line if things do improve. But that is basically, you know, the state that it is in at the moment, but hopefully things will improve. And yeah, so I'd say on console, you know, you're fine to get this. On PC, I'd maybe wait out a bit or just purchase the old one for now, and maybe you can purchase the $10 upgrade later down the line if you do think that it's a, you know, a purchase worth making, particularly for maybe that higher level cap or anything like that. But that is the experience of the Outer Worlds right now, and that is the truth behind the Outer Worlds Space's Choice Edition and how it is working over on PC. Really not great, really disappointing, but hopefully things will improve over time. Now that does just about wrap up things here. Hopefully now you've got a great insight into how the Outer Worlds Space's Choice Edition is working on PC, and obviously on console things are looking alright, but yeah, it definitely needs some improvements, and that does just about wrap up things here. Now, I have done a video going over absolutely everything that is part of this Space's Choice Edition of the Outer Worlds, and if you're interested in watching that, then a link to that video is on the screen now, and you can go ahead and join me over there.